Back again with another Sly review, and today we're going to talk about Review Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. And unfortunately, I don't have the DVD. I would love to pick up the film because, to me, this is a fun movie. Then I'm not going to sit here and say this is a classic, but I'm not going to also sit here and say that this is Stallone's worst movie. To me, if you want to see his worst, go watch Spy Kids 3D. Then come back to me. This isn't that bad. I mean, come on. I mean, I had some lighthearted fun here with this movie, and like I said, I would love to pick it up on DVD. I don't know if it's on Blu-ray. I doubt it. But getting to the plot of the film here. So the plot, you have Sly in the film. He's a police sergeant, and his mother, played by Estelle Getty, comes to visit him and starts trying to fix up his life, much to his embarrassment. And for his birthday, she buys him a machine gun out of the back of a van and then becomes involved in a case, furthering interfering in his job and love life. Sly, the character's name is Joe. He has a difficult time, turning away his mother, but then as criminals begin to come after them both, they have to work together and stop the criminals. And that's the plot of the film here. Now, the film is directed by Roger Spottiswoode, who prior to this directed Shoot to Kill, which I have the film in my collection. I've never seen the film. He also directed Turner and Hooch, and then later on Tomorrow Never Dies. To me, he's a good director. And the cast here, you got Sly in the film. He's having fun. I like this character in the film. And, Estelle Getty and Sly had a sweet chemistry, playing mother and son, where the son really takes his job seriously, and Estelle Getty is trying to, always interfering and, trying to embarrass Sly by, telling everybody childhood stories. And, Sly wants no part of it. He's like, Mom, just go home. And, we can all relate to that, the kind of mother and son relationship. And, like I said, Estelle Getty and Sly, they had a sweet chemistry. And if anything else, if people don't like the film, that's one thing. But you can't deny that these two had a sweet chemistry. Jo Beth Williams is here in the film. She's known for being in Poltergeist. And, she's fine here. I like her as an actress. I don't know if, her and Sly had the best chemistry. Other people here in the cast, your villains here, you have Martin Ferrero, which, funny enough, he was an Oscar. And I didn't mention that, but Martin Ferrero, a lot of people know him more from Jurassic Park. He's the guy that gets eaten off the toilet. Yeah, that guy. The guy that is like the lawyer. The blood-sucking lawyer. But, yeah, so Martin Ferrero. And it's funny because in the movie, the way they introduce his character, the scene where Estelle Getty buys the machine gun, like from the gun dealer, out of the back of the van. The gun dealer's like, "Have you seen Miami Vice?" And then it pans to Martin Ferrero on the bridge, and I'm like, okay, I know he was in Miami Vice, and that was on purpose. Because Martin Ferrero, he was in Miami Vice. I forgot the character's name, but he was like an informant. And it's funny when they mentioned that show and they pan to Martin Ferrero on the bridge. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that was on purpose. But he's one of the villains here. And the other villain is played by Gaylord Sartain. And Gaylord Sartain is known for the Ernest movies. You got him and the other guy that are kind of like the bumbling characters. I remember he was in Ernest Saves Christmas. Him and the other guy would watch the reindeers on the ceiling. He's the bigger guy. He's been in many other films too. I think he was in Fried Green Tomatoes, and he's been in a lot of stuff. And, the villains here are not really that memorable looking back. I mean, you got some recognizable people here. But for me, it's really that Sly and Estelle Getty. They carried the film here. The score is by Alan Silvestri. And I'm like, okay, why do I recognize the score here? the bit of music, throughout the film, like, I kind of recognize these notes, and I'm like, is that Alan Silvestri? And then later doing research, and I'm like, okay, it is Alan Silvestri. Because I don't know, like some parts of the music kind of, reminded me of Predator a little bit, or, Predator 2. Like it has that kind of, Alan Silvestri motif, or whatever you want to call it. But, it's a fun score. And the film has a very fun vibe, and, there's a lot of fun scenes with Estelle Getty, embarrassing Sly, for example, cleaning his gun in the sink. I think even before that, there's a scene where, this guy is getting ready to jump off the building, and Sly is, at the top of the building with this guy, and Estelle Getty has a megaphone at the bottom, trying to, talk to the guy, and, Sly's like, secure the megaphone. And, Estelle Getty is cleaning his house, and, she brings her own suitcase of, cleaning supplies, and she has that one line in the film, go ahead, make your bed. And, there's one weird scene where Sly has a dream that he's in a diaper, and I don't know about that. But, yeah, there is a scene where, Sly's in a diaper, because his mom is kind of like overbearing and overprotective. As far as like action goes, I mean, you're not going to get like hard-boiled type action or I mean, there's some fun bits here and there, kind of like little shootouts. You got a car chase with Estelle Getty driving, and she ends up in a dumpster, and that was fun. And it's kind of like lighthearted action. And I mean, it's PG, so the humor is kept at PG. They don't throw in a lot of dirty jokes or, whatnot. For the most part, it's a clean movie. And again, you get some kind of lighthearted action. And, in the third act of the film, you have some good action at this airstrip. And so, yeah, and the one thing that I kind of wonder about here for me, the question that I wrote down here, at this time period for Stallone, between 1990 and 92, which, he did this film the year before, but I kind of wonder, why wasn't this time period, the greatest for Sly, before Cliffhanger and Demolition Man? And the same thing can be asked, for afterwards, because, from 94 he did The Specialist, then he did Judge Dredd and Assassins. But it seems like, between 90 and 92, I don't know if Rocky V and the reception of Rocky V hurt his career, and, why was this time period for Sly not the greatest? And, the same thing for, like, let's say between 94 and 95. I mean, and when I talk about, later on, The Specialist, it's an okay movie, and I love Cliffhanger, I love Demolition Man, but and it was kind of like a weird time. Like, 93 was a great year. 94, he did The Specialist, which is not as great as those two, and, Judge Dredd is okay, but it's not as great, and Assassins, it's an okay film, but I don't know. What do you guys think? But, with all that being said here about this movie, it's time to get to my final thoughts. Sylvester Stallone and Estelle Getty have a sweet chemistry, fun bits of comedy, and some action, with decent direction from Roger Spottiswoode, who brought us Turner and Hooch. Now, while I wouldn't label this a comedy classic and not Stallone's worst, see Spy Kids 3D, but Stop Where My Mom Will Shoot is lighthearted fun. But those are my final thoughts on Stop Where My Mom Will Shoot. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.